There was a time, wasn't there? A time when you believed the stories they told you. When you thought the world worked the way they said it did. When you thought success meant praise and failure meant shame. But have you ever wondered, who decided that? Because what if everything you'd been told about yourself, about reality, was never really yours to begin with? What if every belief you held was simply a seed planted by someone else, reinforced over time, until you thought it was your own? But now something's shifting. Now you see it, and when you see it, you can change it. Because isn't it fascinating how easy it is to give away your power, to let others define your worth, to let the outside world dictate how you feel? But what happens when you stop playing that game? What happens when you choose? Because you do have a choice, don't you? A choice to decide right now. Do you no longer need their approval? Do you no longer seek their validation? Do you no longer wait for permission to feel strong, worthy, or powerful? Because when you stop chasing, what happens? When you stop seeking, what shifts? When you stop giving a damn about their opinion, what opens up? Everything. And isn't that an incredible realization? That the moment you reclaim your mind, the moment you own your reality, the moment you decide what to believe, something inside you clicks into place. And now you can feel it, can't you? That shift, that deep, undeniable truth settling in. That you are the authority, that you set the rules, that you decide what matters and what doesn't. And what if all those fears, all those limitations, all those false rules you imposed on yourself, what if they were just illusions? What if they were nothing more than phantoms kept alive only by your belief in them? And the moment you stop believing, they vanish. Because isn't it funny how the mind works? How it clings to outdated survival mechanisms. How it convinces you that you must be tough, that you must suppress, that you must control everything. When in reality, the more you let go, the stronger you become. Because the more you let go, the more you flow. The more you release, the more you rise. The more you surrender to your own power, the more unstoppable you become. And isn't that a paradox worth embracing? Because you spent so much time trying to figure it out, haven't you? Trying to think faster, trying to get ahead of your own mind, trying to force yourself into a version of you that was never even yours. But what happens when you slow down? What happens when you breathe? What happens when you stop thinking and just know? Because intelligence isn't about thinking more. It's about thinking better. It's about being present. It's about trusting yourself so deeply that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. And when you do that, when you finally drop the need to impress, to convince, to chase, that is when something incredible happens. People feel you. People respect you. People gravitate towards you. Not because you need them to, but because your energy is so undeniably strong that they can't help but be drawn in. Because people, they don't remember what you say. They don't remember what you do. They remember how you make them feel. When you stand in your own power, when you own your truth, when you radiate unshakable confidence, not from arrogance, but from deep self-trust, they feel it, and they respond to it. So what if, starting right now, you decide? What if you decide to release the old beliefs? What if you decide to rewrite the script? Because the only thing holding you back is a story. And the moment you stop telling it, it disappears. And then what's left? Freedom, power, choice. And isn't that exactly what you've been looking for all along? Because have you ever stopped to wonder, who told you what to believe? Who decided what was true and what was false? Who set the rules for how you should think, feel and behave? And isn't it interesting how we accept these rules without question? How we assume if the world praises us, we must be right. And if the world shames us, we must be wrong. But now something's shifting. Now you start to see beyond the illusion. Because isn't it true that every belief, every single thing you ever accepted as fact, was just planted, conditioned into you by repetition, reinforced by authority figures, sold to you as if it were the only way to see the world? But what if it wasn't? What if you could choose? What if right now you could take back your power and decide for yourself? Because the truth is, the moment you stop needing validation, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop chasing approval, you start leading. Isn't that fascinating? The more you let go of external validation, the more people respect you. And maybe you've noticed how seeking praise only leads to insecurity. How the more you crave admiration, the more anxious you become. How no amount of approval ever fills the void. So what if, instead of chasing it, you let it go? What if you stepped into reality where you didn't need anyone's permission to feel worthy? What if, from this moment forward, you decided your self-worth was non-negotiable? Because when you own your worth, people feel it. When you stop seeking attention, you attract it effortlessly. When you trust yourself fully, you don't need to prove anything. And doesn't that open up a whole new world of possibilities? Because when you no longer seek approval, something incredible happens. Your humour becomes sharper. Your presence becomes magnetic. You become free to express yourself fully, to be truly unapologetically you. And that's powerful, isn't it? Now think back. When did you first decide that you had to be serious? When did you first believe that emotions made you weak? When did you first tell yourself that you had to toughen up? Was it when someone teased you? When you were told you were acting like a baby? When you felt that showing emotions would leave you vulnerable to attack? And isn't it ironic how in trying to protect yourself, you only hurt yourself more? How the more you suppressed, the more disconnected you became. How the more you forced yourself to man up, the more you lost touch with who you really are. And maybe now you realise that you don't need to prove anything. The true strength isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about integrating them. The real confidence isn't about arrogance. It's about authenticity. And isn't it powerful to know, the more you accept yourself, the stronger you become. Because the moment you stop suppressing, you start thriving. The moment you stop checking out, you start tuning in. And isn't that what you've been waiting for all along? Because you know deep down, the world doesn't remember your words. They don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel. And what if, starting now, you committed to making people feel amazing? What if you become a force of energy, humour, playfulness and power? What if, by shifting your focus, you unlocked something unstoppable inside you? And maybe you've already felt it, that change, that shift, that deep recognition that you're the creator of your reality. You're the architect of your beliefs. You are in control. Because here's the truth. The power of your influence is proportional to how well you can hold your own reality. The stronger you believe in yourself, the stronger you influence others. The more unshakable you are, the more you shape the world around you. And now, you know this at a deep unconscious level, don't you? And isn't it fascinating to realise that the less you doubt yourself, the more powerful you become? So, what happens next? What do you choose to believe? And isn't it exciting to know that the choice has always been yours?